on, and everyone was a tarot reader offering readings online. And I was just like, what the heck just happened? Like, who are you? Where did this even come from? And, and then TikTok and all that. And you start reading, and me for fun, I like to watch readings on TikTok because some of them are wild. It's wild work out there. It's like the Wild West.
Welcome to Big Crystal Energy, Season 3, the Veil Season. I'm Ashley, and I live at the threshold. Between medicine and magic, between the visible world and what waits just beyond it, between the person I present and the witch I am. I've learned something. The in-between isn't a problem to solve. It's a place of power. This season, we're exploring the veil, where Victorian women spoke for the dead, where fairies guard the crossroads, where glamour becomes armor, where you stop apologizing for being both things at once. The crystals have always known the way through. Let me show you. Welcome back, everybody, to Big Crystal Energy. I'm Ashley, and today's guest is truly such an honor for me to have on the podcast. Jen Sankey is someone I've followed online for years, so having her on the show honestly feels like a true fangirl moment for me. I have admired her work for such a long time, and I'm so excited to share her with all of you today. Jen is an author, professional witch, teacher, speaker, tarot creator, all of the things with more than 30 years of experience reading tarot and working with energetic healing. And through her world of Stardust Wanderer Tarot, she helps people connect more deeply with their own magical path. She is also the creator of tarot decks, including Stardust Wanderer Tarot and Enchanted Forest Felines Tarot. Today, she is here to talk with us about her new book, Manifesting by the Moon, and about working with lunar cycles in a deeper, more intentional way. Jen, welcome to Big Crystal Energy.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I'm so excited.
Yes. So I mean, anyone that follows me online maybe knows, and Jen saw my post when we were traveling in the Philippines recently. I was able to find her book at a bookstore in the Philippines, which I thought was so fun. It just felt like perfect. And then I was reading it as we were traveling, which was really cool. And so thank you for coming on the podcast. I'm so excited to chat with you.
Yeah, no, and like that was so cool to be able to see that too. So I appreciate you supporting me and taking the time to grab the book when you're in the midst of traveling and all that stuff. So I thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Oh, absolutely. It's just so fun. Like I'm always reading, and my family is very busy. We're always on the go. We're always going somewhere. And one of my favorite things to collect while I'm traveling is books, and they don't have to be related to the place that I'm at, but it's like every time that I refer back to your book, I'm going to always remember that time in my life, too. So, and it was like a very significant, like, to me, my husband's Filipino, like, it was a very significant trip for us, and a lot of learning moments. And so to always remember that your book was with me, I think is always going to be really cool too.
Yeah, I love that. That's awesome. I love it.
Well, Jen is also a mom. She has 4 boys. We were just chatting about that. They're older now, but she understands the chaos.
Yes. I am the chaos. I don't know. You just have to embrace it at a certain point. You just have to
go with it.
You do, or else forget it. It's don't sweat the small stuff and all of that.
Oh, for sure, for sure. So I was also really excited to talk to you today because today is a full moon in Libra.
It is, and it's April. Where we made it to April, and I mean, and this is a pretty big full moon too, with being in Libra and the balance of relationships. We're kind of stepping into spring, so it's that renewal. So there's like so much of like this like new energy and this balance and setting boundaries and all of that. So it's a pretty, and I didn't sleep very good last night. I mean, not for reasons like you didn't sleep, but I was up a lot because I just think that there's just so much happening, and it's a powerful one. It is.
Wow, I can tell you, I am truly feeling it. I feel like I mean, because I just feel like I feel like a lot of energy, and I know that we are returning from a traveling, but it feels like so much more than that.
Yeah, it's extra. It's extra. And, I think too, people need to think about, when there's these full moons, like it isn't just us, obviously, that feel it. There's other people around. So just being, having that discernment and that a little bit of patience. And like I always told my kids when they were younger, like if they were getting impatient, you stop, breathe, and count to three. I'm sure you
Yes.
probably have your version of that. And,
Oh, we do.
this time, like right now, is such a very good time to practice that. Even like I got up this morning and I was groggy. Like I said, I didn't sleep great. And I go online and I'm looking and just catching up on emails and I'm seeing like all these people trolling and online on like Facebook and stuff. So I was like, yeah, out of here. We're going to probably
Yeah.
not, we're gonna probably avoid that today. But I think just realizing that, yeah, like everybody's a little touchy today. And I think it's good to just kind of take a breath, step back, let it go.
I think I'm gonna take a nap this afternoon.
That is even better idea. Always up for naps.
I'm like, yeah, today's a nap day. We can only just do so much. So
No,
they
absolutely.
definitely feeling that. Now, it seems like primarily you've done a lot of work. I mean, obviously with the moon, but a lot of work with tarot over the years.
Yeah, yeah. I'm really just a little bit of everything, and that's kind of how I use professional witch because it's if you're like listing all the modalities that you do, it would take forever. So I just
Of
kind of
course.
put them all together. But yeah, tarot has been a big part of my life since I was about 12.
Oh, that's
So
incredible.
it's just been along for the ride, and just whenever I need a quick answer to something, or I need clarification or any of that, tarot's always there for me. So definitely.
I was listening to a podcast that you were interviewed on recently, and you had mentioned that you got your first tarot deck from a Spencer's.
Yeah.
Well, I was like cracking up because,
Isn't that funny? Like,
well, it is funny because, as as someone that grew up like probably in similar time as you, like the Spencer's was the thing, and it just like that made me
at least you
giggle.
would be able to find something like that.
Yeah.
Holy
Yeah.
moly.
And I totally related when you were talking about like going to the library or going to the store and there's like hardly any books. There's nothing there's hardly anything
Yep.
to read about all these topics. And, I was like, oh yeah, for sure. Things
Yep.
have really come a long way.
They have. And I
Especially,
think, in a way, it's one of those things, like I'm grateful for that because I feel like I was able to really tune in into my intuition and trust my magic more because I didn't have all this stuff on the internet and all of that. Yeah, but then on
sure.
the other hand, it would have been nice to have those resources. But then it's such a weird thing. And I think you kind of in the beginning of internet times, we'll say, which just sounds ridiculous, We're from the 1900s. Okay, we can talk like this.
Yes, the
And
1900s.
the internet when it first started, it was definitely just more, simple. Whereas, now you got AI into the mix of things and all of that. And, I really do feel for these younger witches because half the stuff, I mean, even anybody goes online, most of what you read probably isn't true. So I think it
Yes.
was really important, I think it's really important to use books, keep using books, buying books, and all of that. And even people writing books, like get out there and source your material and write your books. Like, even in my book, and I always tell people this, like in the back, I think there's like 5 or 6 pages of citations. So that
Yeah.
means I read and vetted every single source that I use, and they're all in
Oh,
here,
wow.
and Llewellyn double checked all of them.
Wow. Yeah.
So, like just alone, just being able to do that and know, okay, everything I wrote in here is true, it's sourced, you can trust it, you can use it, and it's not some AI slop. So I think that's important. And I was on Amazon the other day, like I'm looking, I'll be honest, I'm looking on the book lists and seeing where things are. It's just
Sure.
what we do. And I was on the best release list or whatever, new releases for the longest time, which is super cool. And I was so excited about it. Well, then all of a sudden it popped off. Like my book it was off that list. And there's
Hmm.
100 books on that. And I'm like, well, that's really weird. So I kind of started just looking at the books that were on the list. There was, I'm not even kidding, at least 25 AI books that were
Oh my
complete AI
God.
slop. And I'm like, what do you even do? It's overwhelming. And so I'm looking, and there was this one author, it had a male name, but he wrote
Mhm.
25 books, not even in the last year. I think
Oh,
he
come
first
on.
posted, I think it was July of last year, and has written 25 books since
There's
then.
no way.
Is that even possible? It took me
No.
2 years to write my book because of all the research and all of the stuff you put into it. But some people don't know any better. And it's one of those things like this is crazy. It's crazy. So I think it's so important for us to really support, and even supporting libraries, and
Mhm.
I'm always sending people, they're like, oh, I want your book, I just can't afford it. And when I'm like, go to the library, request it,
Sure.
get it in there. Yeah, like, just let's use these things. Like, and I think I'm such a and like you, I'm a big book person, obviously.
Mhm.
And I think we need to just start kind of directing our younger generation towards paper again.
Oh
There's
God, for
plenty of
sure.
online sources that are
Mhm.
wonderful, but you know what? Read it. Read this perspective. It's not like you need to go exactly and do, like, even in my book, you don't need to do exactly everything, but maybe it's going to give you an idea, and you'll
Mhm.
create something yourself. And that makes me even more happy. I'd rather you do that. But you need to
Absolutely.
start somewhere, so that it's a
Mhm.
great starting point.
Absolutely. I mean, to spend 3 years working on something and then see someone come out with 25 BS in a year, I mean, that's like
Yes.
disheartening, I would imagine a little bit.
It is. It's frustrating. And then, then you roll into the tarot decks. So my
Oh.
Enchanted Forest Felines deck is with Llewellyn. And I reported probably 10 different places that had counterfeit decks.
Oh.
And if you do find any counterfeit decks, in case you don't know this, excuse me, you can go on Llewellyn's site, and they actually have a page where you can report it.
Oh, wow, that's
So they
great.
have a service that you can, and I'm pretty sure the other publishers do as well, but I know because they're my publishers, so I know that they do
Yes.
that. But and I believe too that can even go for books and stuff as well. So just to keep in mind that there are things that you can do about it. I mean, it's kind of like a drop in the bucket, but it's better than nothing. And at least,
Absolutely.
the more they do go through them, and they will get them taken down. Will it pop up again in a year? Possibly. But at least that years worth of people didn't buy a fake deck, and then, all of our time and energy
Yeah.
didn't get wasted because it takes 3 to 4 years to do a tarot deck as well.
Oh, I can
Like, all of this
imagine.
stuff doesn't, I mean, the artist alone, it takes 78, it's 79 with the cover pieces of art.
It's a
So,
lot of
and then
work.
I have to write all the descriptions, and then I give all the descriptions to my artist, and then my artist draws from that. So it's definitely a big process. And a lot of people will be like, oh, AI decks or whatever, they're fun. And it's like, all right, that's, I'm not going to tell you what to think, but I would like for you to think about the actual process of it. Like, you
Mhm.
wouldn't want somebody coming into your job and being like, oh, I don't need you. I'm going to type this up. You can just leave. Like, and you may do it 10 times better than AI does, but they're like, who cares? Like, it's
Oh,
fine.
yeah.
So it's just think about it, like, give it a little bit of a think, and then never even, and then you roll into what it does to the environment, AI itself.
Oh, I'm
So
sure.
it's definitely, I think it's just by us just keep talking about it, and letting our younger generation, or even people who are older who are starting, because there's plenty of people like that as well. So it's just, we need to keep talking about it.
I mean, I see that. I mean, from my own perspective, it's kind of like I work in the hospital,
Mm-hmm.
and I have my patients that come to me and they're like, "Well, I googled this." And I'm like, "Okay, well, but I'm telling you what you have based on all of my experience doing
Right.
this, but
Yeah.
you've
That's
decided that
right.
you're going to go on Chat GPT and that's going to diagnose you and that I'm wrong." And it's like,
Right.
it's hard,
It
because you
is
put so
very
much
hard.
into your time in your craft, and then you have people that are second guessing you because they just typed some stuff into Chat GPT and you're
Right.
just
And then a
in the
lot
middle
of
of
that is not, like you said, it's not even true. And years ago too, I'm actually a nurse, so I do
Oh,
understand
you
what
are?
I am. I'm not, I have my license still, but I'm not working as a nurse right now. But I do understand what you're saying. People come in and they had this list, and I did mostly OBGYN.
Mhm.
So they'd be like, oh, I Googled this and this is what it said, and I need this and I need that. And it's like, no, we're not going to do that, because that medicine that you're asking for is actually going to mess with your blood pressure, and you blood pressure, bad blood pressure. So you're
Mhm.
going to give yourself a heart attack, or they come
Mhm.
with their supplements and all of that. And,
Yeah.
and even in my book, I talk about herbs and all of that. And,
Mhm.
if you're going to do anything, if you're using them in spell work and stuff, it's fine, but if you're burning stuff, if you're doing, make sure you know what you're doing. And I do describe
Absolutely.
it and the suggestions that I have, because people, again, they go on and they throw it into ChatGPT and they're like, oh, yeah, this is great to burn. Oh, like bay leaves, for example. Oh, I can write what I want and burn them and whatever. And, I don't think people realize if you burn enough bay leaves, it could be having a hallucinogenic effect. So, because people are like, oh, if I burn a bay leaf for abundance, or if they're releasing, and, we tend to get carried away. It's like doing a tarot reading for yourself, and then you have all the cards out on the table before you know it. Oh, I'm going to do it for this. And they burn like this whole like vat of bay leaves, and you're going to go somewhere, but it's not going to be anywhere where you need to go. And you're going to be in another planet talking to aliens or something. Like, I don't know what's going to happen. And I've told a couple of people that. I'm like, and even when I'm teaching and stuff, and people are like, oh, and because they've done it, and they are like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, or they don't open windows or something, and you're
Yeah.
just like, friends, you need to pay attention to what's going on.
For sure.
It's like,
Yeah.
it's an herb, and it burns, and it has smoke, and it has magical properties, so things can happen. You have to think about it
Absolutely.
and take your time. And that's even in my book. I'm like, take your time, go slow, learn the things.
For sure. So, what was your journey like? Like, how did you decide to start writing this book, at this point in your career?
It was always something that was kind of hanging out in the periphery. And I was doing tarot readings for the longest time. And when I do tarot readings, I'm more of like counselor tarot reader. I'm not just like, this is that, that's happening, see you later. It's more like, what's going on? What can we do to fix it? What can we do to make it better? And you always have
Mhm.
homework, always.
Mhm.
And that's just how I read. So from
Yeah.
that, I would start using, okay, well, it is the full moon, or it is the new moon, or it is a first quarter moon. Let's utilize that energy. We have it. It's there. You go outside and the phases are going to be there regardless. What can we do to harness that energy to help you along your way? So as I started kind of really working with that and working with it for myself, realizing that the different moon phases also affect you energetically, and it's different for
Mhm.
everybody, tracking that, paying attention to all those things. And it just like slowly started kind of putting itself together. And I actually wrote the whole book. I had the whole thing done, and I wasn't happy with it. And I tore it all apart and redid it,
Oh my
which
gosh.
I don't recommend that. I I definitely lost some sanity during that time, without a doubt. But it just wasn't flowing the way I wanted. And it was perfectly fine. The editors, everyone was like, okay, cool, we're on it. I'm like, no, 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 wait. I want it to be super easy, super accessible. And I was trying to put so much information into it, but not make it overwhelming. So hopefully that was able to convey through, and which it seems to be okay. But and I think that's really kind of how it all just started forming and getting together. And then once I really figured out, okay, well, this is the format that makes the most sense to me, that will hopefully make sense to a beginner, because that's where I was going, or even just somebody that has been working with the moon forever and maybe just wants a different perspective. It's like
Sure.
getting a tarot reading from other people when you're a reader, right? Like, I love
Absolutely.
that. I love getting
Yeah.
readings from other readers, because you just see how they work the cards, how they read and interpret, and they're just their mannerisms, Dora, just what they see. And I think it's just such a learning experience while you're also getting a reading, which is also great. And things that don't work for me may work for somebody else. So if I'm teaching, I may be like, oh, I didn't really like it didn't really vibe with me, but I think it would work for you. And a lot of times they'd be like, oh, yeah, that's great. So if I didn't have that reading, I wouldn't have been able to have that little like nugget to help somebody else.
Yeah, and what I like about your book too is that you don't just jump straight into the moon phases. Like there's a lot of teaching
Mhm.
ahead of it. I mean, I'm looking here, you have a lot that you talk about prior to
Yeah.
even getting into that. I mean, you talk a lot about just all these different, like your lunar spirit, your lunar mind, your lunar body. I think that was all really cool too. And so it does feel like either if you know things or if you don't know things, it's like a really great starting point. But also, like you said, you can learn. I mean, like I too love getting tarot readings from different readers because everybody's just so wildly different.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, and even if they come to the same conclusion, because that's, a lot of times, if you've done professional readings for people, like they'll come to you and get a reading and they'll be like, oh yeah, that's what the last one said. And that's what the last one said. And it's like, of course, then you're going to kind of flag them a little bit like, okay, we got to pay attention because you're one of the,
Right.
repeat offender
Yeah.
over here. But it's also interesting to see that in a way too for your own learning and just to see that perspective. But if you're somebody that's been working with the moon forever and then you read my book too, again, like you said, that lunar mind, body, spirit, it's like encompassing and embodying your practice a little bit more. Maybe you hadn't thought of that. Maybe you just, did your thing during the phrases and that was it. And you never thought to do it that way. So trying that out. Or again, if you're somebody that teaches, maybe a student you have along the line might be like, oh, I'd really like to try it this way. And you could be like, okay, here's this, I'm always about that. Like if there's a book, like even in the back of my book, I have a couple pages of recommendations, like, yeah, these are people that I know, these are their books and they did the same thing I did with my book, and if you want to learn more about this, that, or the other, here's some resources. Because I don't like to
Yeah.
just leave you, and just leave you like, oh, here's a book, bye, have fun. And that's why the first part is the preparation to build your practice, to really understand your practice, understand why you're even doing this. Like,
Yes.
why do I even want to work with the moon? What is a big deal to me? Why is it a big deal? And understanding that and your feelings that come along with that, because as you're moving along the phases and you're doing this work just to manifest a car, there's going to be shadowy things that pop up. There's going to be things that come up that you need to kind of move and work through in order to make more room so that you can bring in those things.
Do you think sometimes people have this desire to kind of skip those beginning pieces and just jump straight into the moon, like the working with the moon phases?
Oh yeah. I mean, I think that probably, especially the younger crowd, they want to do everything so fast. It's like
Yes.
people that want to read tarot, they want to learn it immediately and that's it. So, for example, I think the best example is COVID, right? All of a sudden, everyone was a tarot reader offering readings online. And I was just like, what the heck just happened? Like, who
Yeah.
are you? Where did this even come from? And and then TikTok and all that, and you start reading, and me for fun, I like to watch readings on TikTok because some of them are wild. It's wild work out there. It's like the Wild West. And
Heard
I
that.
mean, there is this woman like pulled this card, and they're also dramatic, and they look like, with like the fortune teller, they look like
Yeah.
fortune tellers, like
So
the worst
cheesy.
the worst movie you ever
Yeah.
saw, So first of all, like I'm trying to get over that, or they have the really long clanky nails and they're clanking and they're clanking, and that drives me bananas. And
Me
I'm like,
too.
how can you read with those nails? Like I'd be like cutting my cards up like Edward Scissorhands over here. But she pulled a card, she pulled a tower, and she's like, "Oh, this is great. You're gonna have everything you wanted, and I'm like, okay, even in the movies, the people know that
I
that
know
card,
that card.
and I don't want to say it's bad because I don't believe that there's bad cards, but it's a big event and it's gonna be startling and like shit's happening. Like
Yep.
that's just what it is. Like there's stuff happening that you can't avoid. This isn't like you're gonna get all your best wishes and they're gonna come to your door at $1 million. And so I was just like, why are you telling this person that? Like, and then
Mhm.
they're gonna just walk away like, oh yeah, everything's gonna fall into place. And meanwhile, the house burns down, and you're just
Yes.
like, so I mean, I think again, and not even gets into the legalities of it and like the legalities of tarot reading. That's a whole nother discussion, But I think that being able to take your time, learn, and understand why you want to do it, even as a tarot reader. Why do you want to read tarot? Why do you want to work with the moon? How do you expect it to benefit you? How do you expect to use it? What are you using it for? And what's going to happen if these things pop up? What do I do about it? And if you skip through the foundations, just like if you skip learning the foundation of tarot, your practice is going to fall short, and it's not going to be as in depth. You're not going to be able to take it as far as you want. Your readings will just kind of be base readings, if that, and you're not going to be happy with them. So I think it's just so important. It's just taking the time to do that. And, the other thing everybody likes to skip is the dark moon. Everybody's like, nah, I don't need to integrate. I don't need to rest. This is fine. Let's hear
Love that part.
one. Yeah, I know. Me too. I'm like, yay.
Part.
So many people want to skip that because they're like, okay, what's next? What's next? What's next? And we're so conditioned now about the what's next. What can I do next? What can I learn? How can I make it better? And that's why you have online these people that, or you have like manifest what you want in 3 days and all of that, And even me having the word manifesting on my cover, like I had to think about it. Like I had to really think about it because it's such like a new agey buzzword, and there's nothing wrong with new age, but we know, if you're looking online and people are and whatever, putting crystals in their ears, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Okay, I'm gonna be honest, it annoys me, and it's like you're taking some great energy and you're making it weird, and I'm not a hot take. I'm not really into the light language thing, and if you study
No,
the
me neither.
psychology. If you study the psychology of it, it's people think it's the aliens coming down and telling you all the things, right? It's actually not. It's another part of your brain because we don't use all of our brain, right? There's a lot of space in there. And I was actually just talking to my husband about this the other day too, and about like how much of our brain we actually use. But I was reading a study that I vetted, and it's an actual person like does all this stuff, that it's not an alien talking to you. It's actually just you talking to you. So people come at you with that, and they're sending you codes, and they're doing all the, and I'm like, what is this noise? I don't even know. And it makes me very uncomfortable. I'm like, why? But then I think about like, okay, why is this making me uncomfortable? Well, it's making me uncomfortable because I feel like it's being forced. Like it's somebody's forcing energy. I mean, like if somebody's doing Reiki, like I'm a Reiki master. If I were to be like, I'm going to do Reiki for you right now, and I didn't get your permission, that's going to feel gross,
Yeah.
So I feel like for me, because people will be like, well, if it makes you uncomfortable, you have to do the work. And it's like, sweetheart, I've done all the work. I've done the work on top of the work, and I know why. And that's why it makes me uncomfortable. But I think that people need to really also try different things. You may get my book and read through it and work with the moon, and you may be like, this isn't really for me. And that's fine. Just like there's people that learn tarot and go through years of learning it and then be like, yeah, I think I'm done with this. I want to read runes instead. And that's okay. And I think you still have that experience. You still have the perspective. You still have that intuition, using your intuition and building on it. So regardless of if you do it or not, or if you read that book or not, you're still working those muscles. And that's really what's most important.
So as you're kind of going through the book, when you get to the part about working with the moon, how do you recommend, like, so today, if you have the book and you've gone through the whole beginning portion of it and you're ready to work with the moon, would you recommend just kind of like today it's the full moon, jumping in and starting working with the full moon, or how do you kind of recommend going through that process?
I think that if you want to just try it out, that using the bigger, the new moon, the full moon is totally fine. I mean, you can jump in at any time. And since you're just beginning, like start small. There's maybe make some moon water. So in my book, the full moon is about balance. And I have tarot cards assigned with each phase. So for that, it's the sun and the moon, because again, that balance and what is the sun shining, the sun in your sun sign is what you show everybody, right? That's the outward part of you. Your moon sign is what you keep hidden from people and you don't really want them to see. And so it's like, okay, well, what is the sun shining on your outward self that maybe you need to look at? Or what is the moonlight shining on that maybe you need to bring to the sun? And that's a part of you need to bring out. And where is this balance and what you can do with it? And that does a lot of times require some releasing, which is most known on full moons. And so just really sitting with it and deciding like, okay, well, I want to work with this moon. Do I want to do a spell? There's suggestions for that. Do I just want to maybe work a little bit with some goddess energy and see how that feels? You don't have to do every single thing for each phase. Like just kind of slow start and do, you might just go through, jump in right now at the full moon and do the rest of the phases and just do the spell work. Or you may just make an altar and see how that feels for you, and by changing the different things on the altar during the phases. And is that something that you feel that you can do? Is that sustainable? How can you make it easier? And a lot of the spell work, everything in there, I try to make really, really practical. Because again, as a mom of four, I don't have time to be doing all these elaborate things. You just don't. So being able to make it so you can go to the dollar store and you can buy everything you need for this book. And that's how I want it.
Yeah.
It's easy. You don't have to buy some rare herb, from Indonesia to make a spell that's $300 for 2 ounces, and you burn this little tiny bit and it goes bad. So I think that's, really a lot of what I wanted to bring to the book too, is making it practical, doable every day, that you can do these little things, even if you just start doing the affirmations.
Yes.
And maybe, just doing those every day and seeing how that feels. And then slowly, next moon phase, add something else. Okay, well, and you can still manifest, you can still create an intention and still just do affirmations. But the important part with this, and I say it throughout my book, is action steps. Okay, you're doing that affirmation. So what is that affirmation? I'm going to, I'm going to move my body every day. So maybe you're working towards getting healthy. Don't just say it. Don't just see it pop up on your phone. Even if you walk around your living room watching a show, or, doing something like that, or you walk back and forth to the mailbox a couple times, you started that action, you started that process. And that's what's important is, and again, going back to that, the whole buzzword of manifest. Everybody's like, make that wish and manifest what you want and it'll just happen. It's not going to happen if you don't have action steps. If you're not doing something actively to call it in, the universe is going to be like, oh yeah, that's cute, and move along. If you're taking the action, if you're actually, doing these things, then the universe is like, okay, look, they're ready to receive. So let's send some good juju their way. And I think that's what's important for people to know, is that it isn't just a buzzword. And again, that's why I put it on my book. And I knew, and I've already gotten crap from people that, oh yeah, manifest what you want, whatever you want. And it's like, okay, so I actually, Llewellyn posts on their site, like when the books come out. So they posted my book when it came out in February. So some guy went on there, of course, and he wrote, oh yeah, of course, manifest. Oh yeah, this is a bunch of crap. Yeah, manifest my moon, whatever you want, you'll be rich tomorrow. And I'm like,
Did you even read the book? Because that's not what you're saying.
Exactly. And, and so I said, you know what? Usually, you don't even bother with the troll comments, but I'm like, I'm going to play. Let's play. And I'm going to kill him with kindness. So I went on his profile, and he was like, and he was a tattoo artist or something, right? And I'm like, okay, I see that. And I said, oh, actually, yeah, that would be really cool if that happened. But that's not what it is. It's about manifesting with the moon phases, but you have to take action steps. And oh, by the way, you're really cool tattoo artist. I liked your profile. I liked your work. So, and I left it at that, right? And then within a couple minutes, he's answered, and he's like, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Oh, thanks for telling me about my tattoos. I think I'm going to get your book. I'm going to look into your book. He probably didn't buy it, but I could have went, it's, the little angel and devil on your shoulder. You believe in the devil, but still, it's that moment.
Right. Yeah.
I could go many ways with this, but I just made, because I knew it was on their public page and whatever, and I represent them. And I'm like, I'm not going to be that person. And you can get your point across without being nasty.
Absolutely.
And, I think that's really important too, that it's, instead of just this, listening to that conditioned response of the buzzword, maybe look into it, maybe see. And it may be for you, it might not be for you, but buying a program or getting one of these crazy coaching programs for like $10,000 to help you manifest what you want, I mean, I'm sorry. That's all you're doing is putting money into somebody else's pocket. I believe that there are some really good teachers, and I don't love the word coach, but there are people out there that are good. And again, it's talking to the people that that have already done their programs or done whatever. And it's if it's a more intensive, like teaching you how to do it, not just here, I'm gonna write all this out for you and you're gonna do this and you're gonna get $1 million, then it's not gonna happen. And I've seen that countless times, countless times.
Sure.
So it's so frustrating to see that. And, I mean, I just have my one little book with the word manifest on it. And,
Yeah.
but, if even if a couple hundred people pick it up and read it and realize that's not what it's about, then I'm happy.
Yeah. And I just think, like, unfortunately, the word manifest, so many people don't really actually understand what manifestation truly is. I mean, they
Right.
just think it's like speaking things out into the universe and then it's all just going to happen. And that's actually not true of what it is at all. I mean,
Exactly.
there's a lot of action required. And, just speaking to the book and the way that you have it, I love it because, I mean, me as, I'm thinking when we first, so when we first got to the Philippines, it was very close to the full moon. And so it was cool because throughout the book, like I could refer through the moon cycles because we were gone for like almost a whole month. And there were
Right.
things I could do while I was traveling that didn't require me to have anything.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
I loved
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. And
You
that's
know?
really what I want, and I always tell my kids too, done is better than perfect.
Absolutely.
If you're
Mhm.
waiting, and again, and it goes back again, those beautiful Instagram feeds and all of those things, like it takes a lot of time to get that set up. And most times those people have a little section in their house and that's all set up all the time. They're not
Yes.
taking it down and putting it back up. It's there all the time. Because you'll
Mhm.
see that some of the elements change, but most of the big stuff's the same.
Yes.
If you really pay, and we're all goldfish, so a lot of people don't even look at that. But realizing that, and not everybody can have that in their house if they have small kids, if they have pets, if they
Absolutely.
live in a place that they aren't comfortable displaying that sort of thing. And which I do talk about even in my book too, about making little travel altars or ones to put in, in a cabinet or whatever.
Yes, and
But
I love
again,
that.
even if you just get a little a tin and have a little travel thing, like you could do that, or you
Yes.
just you do all the other stuff and you don't use anything. If you have a tea light that's a battery operated one and you can't light things where you are, use that. Like I'd rather you just come, or even just finding what's outside. I'm always about go outside and see what you can find. If you don't have that crystal that you want for that base, go outside and just ask, who wants to, what rock wants to work with me today? One will pop up. Guarantee 100% one will catch your eye. Then use that. That's your rock for that waning crescent phase, and
For
don't be
sure.
afraid to do that. And I think that's really a part of it too. Everybody's like, oh, well, we need this with this list and we need this and we need that. No, if you just go outside and grab some dirt and use that for something, that's totally fine as long as you're doing it. I just want you to do it.
Yeah, and I know that for me, I was like, okay, well, I want to embody like the energy that I'm carrying with me right now. And so as I'm going through this whole month, like the energy, I'm at the ocean. So let me go find a beautiful little seashell on the beach and
Yeah.
put that like in my little travel tin, my little travel altar tin. And then that's so easy to just pop open,
Right.
put on my little bedside table. I have my journal and I do my little things and it doesn't have to be some big elaborate
Right.
to do.
Because if it is, you're not going to do it,
No,
especially when you're traveling and you
absolutely.
have kids and things are going on and, these kids are being crazy today and you're exhausted. Like you're not going to sit there and take an hour to put an altar together,
I just don't
And
have the
then
time for
even,
that.
yeah, even like bracelets, like using a
Yeah,
couple
love
different
it.
bracelets, and you can set them down and even make a little ritual out of it if you want. Or, say some affirmations or do some journaling, hold on to it, do a meditation. There's so many things. There's so many things that you can do and pull cards, of course, or whatever other divination that you do. There's always that. And if you don't have a tarot deck on hand, there are apps that have tarot decks. I always recommend having a moon app and to have it on there so that it's ready to go and you know what's going on at all times. I mean, that's what I always have my moon app. And I have it like right on top,
Yeah.
like, as big as possible. So I know exactly where it is, when it is, and all of that. But obviously I do moon stuff. So
Yeah.
of course I'm gonna have that.
Sometimes I'll even go like if I have like I have a little tarot deck that I like to take with me traveling or whatnot. But sometimes if we just go away for the weekend and I'm like, oh my gosh, I really want to like do a pull. Sometimes I'll just go on the Llewellyn website and they have the little
They have the little one that does a quick little reading. Yeah.
yeah, you can pick what deck you want and then it'll pull a card for you. And sometimes I think
Yeah.
that's kind of fun too.
I think it's fun to, yeah. And especially if you want a deck and you don't know, you want to check it out, like that's a great way to do it. And I don't know, I think that's fun. It's fun to do that. It's like the magic 8 ball, like you're
Oh gosh,
letting the universe really decide what you're going to get.
the magic 8 ball. Now that is a
Yeah.
blast from the past, and we
Yeah.
have I was obsessed with my magic 8 ball.
I still have it somewhere.
I have one too.
I think it's still
Yeah.
I
So
wonder if
fun.
it's got water in it still. I have to find it. But yeah,
Oh my gosh.
I think it's definitely, again, it's just doing it and doing something. If it's just standing outside and talking to the moon, if that's all you can do, that's fine. And also as you go through the moon phases and you're feeling a certain way, jot it down in the notes in your phone
Yes.
or journal on it and just notice how you feel. Because if you know that every first quarter moon you feel a little wired, you're a little overstimulated, that's usually for the first big action. Okay, well, you know what? Maybe how can I tailor that to where I'll actually do it without getting overwhelmed?
Absolutely.
So no, and as you're doing that, you're also learning about yourself.
Mhm.
That full moon, some people are super energetic, some people are just done.
That's
And
me.
like I'm born on a full moon. I was born in the
You
harvest
are?
full moon. Yes.
Oh,
So
wow.
for me, like full moons can almost be sometimes like, especially this one, I was born, I am an Aries moon, but I was born in the sign of Libra. So like, I feel like that's this moon's a little more intense for me because of that Libra
Sure.
energy. So it's like, I know that, okay, you know what? I may do some releasing, but I'm not going to go crazy. I'm not going to go out because I'm not going to overstimulate myself. Like, I'm going to
Mhm.
just be like, okay, what can I do in a subtle way that's still in action, that still will move the dial, but not make me like crazy. So, like, I'm not going to be like, oh my gosh, I need to do all these things. Like, there's
Yeah.
probably not going to be a big ritual tonight. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Like, we're going to
yeah.
keep it simple. We might be light a candle, talk to a crystal. I don't know. But
We're
again,
gonna keep it simple
it's,
over here too.
yeah, we're keeping it simple, but you're still doing something. Again,
Oh gosh.
most important point of all of this is, if you want to keep things moving, if you want to change energy and manipulate your energy and the energy around you, you do have to do stuff. And that, but it doesn't always need to be physical either. But you don't always want to be stuck. And that's why I have like the lunar mind, body, and spirit, because a lot of people want to work with just spirit. They want to be up here in these upper chakras all the time. And that can leave you very untethered, and because you're not grounding, you're not, you're keeping it all up here, and you can get lightheaded, you can get headaches, you can get all of these things. And you're like, why do I feel like this? Well, because we're all up here. You're trying to work with all of this energy and you're really pushing your intuition to a point where you're going to burn out and you're not grounding. So by incorporating that, I'm doing a little bit of physical stuff, a little bit of intuition stuff, and then kind of tying it all together so that you are hitting all of those points, and it really will help avoid overwhelm and or burnout.
How do you feel about people that feel like they have to um just do something for every single moon cycle? I mean, because sometimes it's hard to keep up with everything. Our lives are busy. Do you say like do what you can when you can, or what is your thoughts on that?
Most likely it's going to be a Capricorn who's doing that.
Yeah, of
They
course.
do
Yeah.
every single thing, every single, and again, it's about the burnout and the more, yeah, you might go rolling for a couple cycles and you're going, but you're gonna burn out, and then you're not gonna do anything for 6 months. But I think just again, realizing, understanding yourself. Why do you feel like you have to go full throttle every single cycle? Why do you feel like you can't rest for a cycle? Like, what is missing? What do you feel like is gonna, like, why do you have FOMO right now? Like, what's happening? Why is that? And I feel like taking time to dive into that a little bit is going to be more important, give you better answers than just trying to manifest, 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 manifest.
Mhm.
And, we say manifest. It doesn't mean every cycle is going to be, I need a new car. I want a house. I want, $1 million. I want 10 dogs, Some of them are, it's like, you know what? It's work on self-care. Like
Mhm.
I'm going to use this cycle to work on myself. Or, maybe it's just getting your finances in order. Maybe
Sure.
it's
That's
just
a big
a
one.
simple, again, like just moving your body. Maybe it's just cleaning your house. Maybe you're going to focus on a different section of your house for each moon phase.
That's
And
a
you
really
can do
good
that.
idea, actually.
Yeah. Like, I mean, you can absolutely do that without a
Mhm.
doubt. And that can be really effective. And
Mhm.
because it kind of lays out that blueprint of what you need to do based on that energy. And then if as you get more experience, then you can start bringing the zodiac into it. Okay, well, it's a first quarter moon in Pisces. Okay, so I'm not going to take any really big actions, maybe physically, but maybe I need to set some boundaries. And
Mhm.
and, and a lot of times you think that you're going to know exactly who needs that boundary. And you're going to be like,
Mhm.
yeah, okay, Pisces. So, it's and all the feels and all that, but there's a big action with that first quarter. How can I use that? Oh, Joe Schmo. All right. He needs a boundary because he's been
Mhm.
really just asking too much lately. And a lot of times it'll just fall into place for you in that way. And if it doesn't, that's fine. Then just skip it. If you skip
Yeah.
it, that's fine. If you don't work with a moon cycle, that's okay because you know what? She doesn't care. She's there to guide you.
There.
But if you don't, then fine. She'll make her rounds again in 28 days ish. So it's
Mhm.
definitely, it's like a choose your own adventure book. And that's what I always
There you
say
go.
because those
I
are the
like that.
best. Those are the
Mhm.
best. And it is. You choose your own adventure. If you want to start, you start working on the new moon and you're going through, and then you get to that, last quarter moon and you turn to page 47 and you're like, you died in the spaceship and it's over. And you're just like, you know what? This isn't really for me. I don't feel like I want this anymore. You stop. You're done,
Mhm.
and a lot of times people are like, oh, if I started I have to move all the way through. But the thing is that you even being able to stop at that point, and that means you've done all this work prior, so you did work. It may
Yes.
not be the work that you expected, but you did work. So now you get to this point and it's like, you know what, I don't even want any of this anymore. I
Mhm.
think I'm just going to leave it. And then as you move into that dark moon and then you're integrating all of that, you're going to probably get some pretty good revelations. And again, don't skip that. Take the time to journal, take the time to integrate. How does it feel in your body? Where in your body are you feeling it?
Mhm.
Because that's really important too, because we store energy in certain places if we aren't feeling good. And the more you recognize that, like some people get like cramps in the top of their legs if they're really stressed, or they have anxiety with somebody. And pay
Mhm.
attention to when you're talking to different people in your circle, where you're feeling it in your body, because that might be some sort, like something that needs to be moved, or there's a reason that's being you're having that feeling. And by knowing that and paying attention to that, you know about yourself more, you know what you want and how you need it. And then it's almost like these little like clues, like, oh, you're moving along and you talk to somebody new and your legs start cramping, you're like, oh, okay, I know that energy. This is how I'm going to go about this
Mhm.
situation now.
I
So
think that
you know,
self-awareness is just
yeah, it's
very,
so
very
important because
important.
right now too, we're again, it's the rush, 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 learn, learn,
Mhm.
learn, do. But we're not taking the time to actually sit and where is it going? Like, where is it going in my body right now? Why? What can I do to move through it?
Yeah, and I think so many of us, like, I mean, I know for me, I get very excited about learning lots of different things and consuming, but at some point it's like, well, I gotta quit consuming and I gotta start doing the work. I gotta start putting it into action and taking one step at a time, because the constant consuming of things does not really do well. And I also really feel like what you're saying too, as far as just like feeling that in your body. Like, I always am someone that really physically feels what how someone's really affecting me. And I think the more that we spend time thinking about that, then we really do start connecting those dots.
Yeah.
And I've
Yeah.
always felt like that since I was a kid, like
Mhm.
growing up with, I mean, I even think like my dad would always come home and he would always be like really grouchy when he came home, and I would hear the sound of his truck in the driveway and it would immediately
Yeah.
send me into like
No, the energy changes completely.
the energy changes just by
It
hearing the
it
trucks
changes.
driving down the
Yeah.
street.
No, I absolutely, I totally, totally get that. And And that's a thing too, that you can work on that. You can work on kind of moving through that, because that is kind of a shadowy aspect. And
Absolutely.
again, we're
Mhm.
just so conditioned and we get used to it. Then it's a habit. And then it's like, oh yeah, that just happens. But it doesn't have to. You can
Right.
change that. And that might even be something you work through in a cycle. Is
Absolutely.
okay, I'm gonna really work on when and you can just take it situation by situation as you go through the moon cycle, and just loosely follow everything else, but really focus on embodying. And okay, well, this first quarter moon, I feel sleepy, like I get really tired. So, but I'm really starting to feel it in my hands. My hands feel tight. Why is that? Like, why do I feel that? And pulling some cards on it, maybe doing some of the spell work towards that, and just seeing how you can manipulate that energy to get more answers, and how to
Mhm.
use that and what you can do with that. And there's, the journaling questions are in there too. And that's really just like a jumping point. And you can just kind of just do one, you can do all of them, you can make up your own. But again, you're doing it. And that's what's important.
Yeah, and I just like how you have so much variety, like, you can go through this book over and over and over again, and you
Yeah.
could change it up so it's not gonna be the same every month. You could do different things every month, like, you could spend a whole year going through this book, and it would never be the same thing over and over and over again.
Right. Right. And again, and as you move along, and in the back of the book, I do have a chapter like on advanced lunar stuff,
Mhm.
which hopefully some point I would like to kind of dive into that a little bit more. But that's bringing in the zodiac, that's bringing in eclipse energy, that's
Mhm.
bringing in all of that stuff, because that is such a hot topic.
Sure.
I'm in I on Facebook, very limited, and I had to like bail on Facebook today because everyone's just being wackadoodle. But it's like a beginner witchcraft, because again, I feel like it's like you got to tell these people, read the books, do these things, because they're just constant like I've never done any spell before, but I want my ex's, hair to burn off, and you're just like,
Oh, yeah, no. We're not
whoa,
gonna start there.
and sometimes you can only get so far. But a lot of times I kind of do it too, to just stay humble. Like, I was a beginner once too. And I wish I had somebody to tell me, yeah, this is a good book, this isn't good, this is good, and this isn't. So I tend to like I go in spurts. Like today I was on there and it was no bueno. Not good. We had a bail. Everybody was on their own today. There's no hope for me. And but sometimes you do get these people that ask these questions, and you can offer advice, and it does help them, and it does set them in a different direction. And even if they don't, whoever's reading the comments, will see what's going on. And it's that whole wash, rinse, repeat, and you have like, okay, well, we're bringing the zodiac in, but then in the groups too, like the eclipses is always such a hot topic, because
Oh, it is
everybody,
too.
and then you have everybody, then you have these people that go in there, they say they've been practicing for years, and they're like, but they're just like fear mongers. They're just telling, don't do this, don't do, they're gatekeeping. And you're like, oh my gosh, you're making my brain hurt. So the eclipses are always a hot topic in there, and they're, don't do it. It's chaos energy and the world's going to explode and all of those things. And it's like, first of all, we can easily look on a calendar and see when they're going to happen. So they aren't just showing up. Like, these are kind of scheduled things, basically,
Yeah.
when it comes down to it, like the moon
Oh,
phases.
for sure, yeah.
And, you can decide, you have the choice if you work with them or not. I always say, give it a go, try it out, see if it's for you. And in my book, I use the analogy like having an old two-way radio. So when the eclipse comes around, everything that's already there is already there, but it just turns the energy up. It's turning that dial up a little bit. And depending on if it's like a full eclipse, a solar, a lunar, it's just turning that energy up. And knowing, if you know that going into it, you know how to work with it. Just like if you know what zodiac sign it's in, if it's in Taurus or if it's in Aquarius, then you know what you're doing. So again, it's taking the time to look it up, do some research, see what the energies are. Okay, what's the Aquarius energy? Okay, well, it's a lunar eclipse. And so maybe that's going to be more inner work. The solar eclipse is going to be more outer work. And then once you kind of can come with all the formula and you try it out and you see, and some people are like, oh, okay, I get it. But people that don't prepare, they just go into it and it's willy-nilly whatever, and then that's where you get these people that are just throwing fear everywhere, like don't make any eclipse water, don't. And it's like, sometimes If you need a little punch in a spell, that is great to use because again, it's amplified energy. That's all it is. It's not like the the aliens aren't descending out of it. I mean, not that I've noticed, or I mean, I don't know. Maybe the government knows. I don't know,
Maybe
but
they know, yeah.
like who knows? But it's like, what are you afraid of? The moon moving in front of the sun,
Yeah,
or
totally.
or that it's like what? Like really think about it. Like, what do you think is going to happen?
Yeah,
And
what's
again,
gonna happen?
if you're that scared of it, then maybe we should dive into that a little bit before you work with anything.
Totally.
You
You
know,
know, it's like, how long did you live your life before you were even aware that these
right? How
eclipses even
many eclipses
existed?
have happened at since to this very point? And look at
Yeah.
you. You're
You
here
never
doing
even knew that it was
things.
happening, so it didn't affect you then.
Yes.
So
Oh yeah. So between that, that is a hot topic and moon water. So I actually I made a post about moon water and everything like that because everybody's like, oh, if it hits the sun, it's celestial water and that's it. And it's over. You can't use it. And it's like, listen, you set your intention for it. And in my head, like, I'm like, again, I have a life, I have kids. Sometimes I forget it's on the windowsill because
sure.
it just happens. And, and I've had various people kind of argue this. And again, you believe what you want to believe, and that's totally fine. But in my head, as I set my intention for my moon water, and I feel like it always does need a job or it's going to just sit there, you set the intention for it. And you also, in that intention, you set, okay, well, if it happens to be out when the sun is, it's like a protective bubble goes around it. You're
Mhm.
harnessing the lunar energy. So at that point, it could sit on the windowsill and it's fine unless you want it to be celestial water, which that's a new thing. And then it's whatever. And it's like, I don't know, it's just water. Like, stop. Like, let's not get crazy. And they're like, oh, you can't use it now. Throw it out and blah 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 blah. And you're like, so you know what? Don't worry about all that. Just do what you're gonna do. Use it how you're gonna use it because again, I'd rather you do it than not do it.
Yeah, and what I love about you is how, a lot of times when there's people from outside this type of community, they're looking in, they're like, all the people that are in the witchy community, they're all kind of like the fortune tellers and they're crazy with their nails and all this stuff. And it's like,
Yeah.
no, we're just real people too.
Right.
And we got to come back down
And
to earth.
yeah.
And it's not all woo woo wackadoodle,
Yeah,
we're
every
just
second. Yeah.
every second. Like, yes, we can work with these energies, but it doesn't have to be the end all be all of everything.
Right.
And, you know, so Jen, like, what are you up to? Like, what's your regular day like? Like, are you teaching? Are you working on new projects? Like, what's going on in your world now?
Oh, that's such a
Promoting the
complicated
book?
question. It's like everything and nothing
Yeah.
all at once. No, I'm kidding. No, I have some events. I'm doing a couple events. I'm lining up some book signings. I'm trying to get that going. I actually in the fall I'm going to be doing a book signing because right now I'm like in Key West area and Judy Bloom has a
Huh?
store
Oh
in Key
yeah,
West.
she does.
Yes,
Yeah.
my book is there. My book is there. I have a
Cool.
picture of it in there,
Cool.
but I'm going to hopefully be doing a book signing there. So that's going to
Oh,
be really
good.
cool. I'm really excited about that. I have an event I'm doing in Orlando at Spellbound Books on June 21st. And if you follow me, it'll all start popping up soon. So I'm going to be doing a book signing and we're going to be doing an intro to tarot class. So I'm
Cool.
really excited to do that. It's a super cool bookstore. And then I have some stuff in Miami, Barnes and Noble, and then another place over in Palm Beach, like Crystal Garden. And I'm going to probably do like a signing little workshop there. So I have a couple of things in the mix. I'll be up in New York around May 4th and that weekend in Long Island at Amityville Apothecary. And I'm teaching some moon magic there,
Oh,
signing
fun.
books, all of that. So I have that going on. And yeah, and I'm just right now I'm working on my Goblin Whispers Tarot, finishing that book.
Ooh.
Yeah, so I'm a big David Bowie fan. I love sci-fi.
Yes.
Like if you see my Stardust Wanderer tarot deck, that's all sci-fi. But that's also actually the US Games version of that. The mass market version is coming out in the end of June. So I'm really excited about that. So that's awesome. That was my self-published deck. That was a whole journey in itself. Again, a whole nother talk. But they picked it up. So I'm really excited. And I do have less than 100 copies left on Amazon if you want a first edition, because it is a little
Okay.
different on the mass market edition. So if you want a full indie edition. I have less than 100 left on Amazon right now. So there is that. And then Goblin Whispers, about halfway through. I'm almost done with I'm kind of getting done with the book. The artist, she still has probably 10 or so cards to go. And I've been posting a couple of those, and it's super fun. And like I said, I love David Bowie. So I love like Labyrinth. My whole arm, I have all 80s tattoos on my arm. So I have like Labyrinth, like I have the worm. See, there's and I've done crystal and like unicorn. Yeah, I have all sorts of stuff. So I love all that stuff. So the goblins, if you think about the goblins in Labyrinth, if you think about Dark Crystal, I guess they're goblins. They're creatures,
goblins, I guess.
Right? Creatures. That's what this deck is, and it's a lot of fun. And I do have some cards on my Instagram. So I have that going on. Hopefully getting the go ahead on the next book very soon. And I'm trying to think what else. Oh, I have another deck that's going to hopefully be announced very soon. So I'm excited about that one. Lots of things. So yeah, so I guess that's it. I guess that's it. That's funny. That's funny.
That's awesome. My husband was on I don't know. I don't watch. My life is quite busy, so I don't really watch much TV or movies or anything at this point. But we had on that streaming Peacock, Labyrinth was like popped up, and he's like, "Oh my gosh, Ashley, Labyrinth!" I was like, "Ooh, maybe this afternoon I'm like napping. I'll watch Labyrinth."
Yes. There you go. Just in the background, it's good enough.
Yeah, just have it in the background. Like that nostalgia is just so like.
It's just wonderful. I love it. It's like my favorite movie. It's like my favorite. It's so corny and silly, but it's just, that was like my escape when I was younger. So it's just what it is. I love it.
All right. My escape was like, I don't know if you saw that movie, The Witches, that came out like.
Oh, I love that movie. Yeah.
With Angelica Houston, and she like, the gulf and she pulls off oh my God, that was like. I probably watched that movie like 1,000 times when I was a kid.
All of those.
It was like so telling. I'm like,
yes.
Am I surprised I'm like this now? Should not be at all.
Roads led to here.
Everything led to here. Absolutely.
It's so true. So true.
Well, Jen, so where can everybody find you if they're interested in your work, your book?
Yeah, I mean, Stardust Wanderer Tarot, or even if you just Google Jen Sankey, I will pop up on all the things because I'm a little bit of everywhere. But I always like to say, like, Instagram's kind of the main hub, and it all just goes out from there. So that's definitely the place. I have a website, Stardust Wanderer Tarot, which I need to update. I'm so bad with that. It's one of those tedious things that I'm just like, oh, I got to do that. So,
work on your own website. I have someone that's building a website for me now because I have no idea anything about anything.
A little bit. And, I'm always like, oh, I'll just do this myself. And then I get into all sorts of crap. And so it's like good right now. So it's like when it's good, I don't want to touch it. But then like sometimes I have to like update things. It's like I really need to, I need to hire somebody just to like revamp it at some point. We'll get there. It's on the list of things. So
endless
list.
Yeah,
if you Google Jen Sankey, you'll find me.
Okay. Well, everybody, Jen, it's been just a pleasure having you on. I can't wait for everybody to get your book. It's so fun. It was such a joy to read through all of it and to start working through all of it while I was on my trip. And, it's always going to be special to me because it's really going to remind me of that time in my life. So
I love it. Yes. Yeah. Thank you for having me on, and thanks for everybody listening.
All right. Thanks. See you later.
Bye.
Thank you so much for spending this time at the threshold with me. If you want to go deeper, follow me on Instagram at mystical.mama.ash, where I share daily crystal magic and behind the scenes of this liminal life. You can also find resources, previous episodes, and ways to work with me at bigcrystalenergy.com. We're also on YouTube at Big Crystal Energy Podcast. And if this episode resonated with you, please rate it and review it and share it with a friend that you think would connect with it. It would mean so much to me in helping build this beautiful community of other magical friends and crystal workers. Thank you so much. Until next time, bye.